This is ASOTU Unscripted, and I'm your host, Errol Bomar.
What's up, beautiful people? This is ASOTU. This is Unscripted. I'm your host, Errol Bomar, and I'm excited to have you see me and I see you, right? That's how we're doing this, right? Now, I'm excited to have you here joining us. Thanks for your time and energy, and I'd like you to do me a favor and help me welcome our next guest. That's right. Help me welcome by clapping your hands, stomping your feet, whatever you need to do in your space to make noise and keep the energy going. I want you to actually share that with us right now, all right? My next guest is John Osborne. John, thanks for joining us. Good to see you again.
My pleasure.
Yes, absolutely. So first and foremost, the easy question I ask everyone, is this your first ASOTU?
No.
How many?
Third.
This is your third?
My third.
I love that. That's great. Well, welcome back. We're excited to have you here.
Thank you.
All right. Now, tell me right now, when you're looking at the automotive lens as a whole, what's exciting you right now? Like, what's something that when you wake up, those feet hit the floor, what are you pumped up about right now?
I think we have an opportunity to just be way more upfront with pricing, digital presentation in the showroom floor, empowering our salespeople more, since our customers know what the pricing should be. Salesperson should be able to do that as well. Kind of removing the traditional desking portion away from that transaction, just speed it up.
Yeah.
And then utilizing AI for service, helping with texting customers, removing the amount of phone calls that a service advisor needs to make. To keep a customer informed. And I think most of us would agree texting works best anyway. So to be able to send multi-point inspection video and just texting with the customer so that both parties can respond when it's convenient versus wait and playing phone tag with voicemails and such.
I love that. I love that. What I hear you saying is a lot of the old school, like I think it happened in the 70s or 60s, like somewhere around there, the KISS philosophy, right? Right?
Yeah.
It's keeping it simple and just making it easier for people to do what they need to do. So I love that. So tell us a little bit more about you and your origin story of how you got into the automotive global space that we're in. How'd you get here?
Yeah, so graduated school, went into the Army.
Okay.
Got out of the Army. Went to firefighting school, got engaged, like I need to make some money.
Right.
Saw an ad. I was back in the day, like mid 90s, you could pay, where I started, you had to pay for the training. Okay. So I got hired, but I paid for
your own training.
My own training.
Yeah.
And then if I stayed on board there, if they hired me, I stayed on board, then I got reimbursed after 3 to 6 months. I forget what it was.
Yeah.
So I started an Acura store, started selling cars, and didn't expect it to be a career.
Yes.
Here I am 27 years later.
I love that.
Yeah, so that's it.
What's been so out of that, and I do remember like that, I know exactly what you're talking about because it's funny, like I remember when I was in the auto industry, it was still 100% commission. Yeah. You didn't sell, you didn't eat, you know, the whole thing. We were brooming cars. I'm from Detroit, so it snowed, you're keying them up, clearing the lot, plowing it, brooming cars, whole 9 yards, right? A lot different of an industry, obviously, today from that perspective. But in that 27-year journey, right? Has there been a moment or has there been times where you say, you know what, from a people standpoint, I love the people more than I love whatever the product is I'm doing at that time? Yeah,
so in 2007, I started at an Open Point Toyota store, and it was a one-price environment. So there was a massive shift in my approach to the car business. I learned so much in that time, and it really taught me a lot more about sales doesn't have to be a negotiation. Okay. It's building the value up front, you know? So, and in doing so, you actually attracted a little bit different client advisor and employee as well.
Yes.
So, I would say 2007 kind of was more of a big shift for me of really realizing the importance of hiring the right people. Yeah. Because it does take a different person to build the value up front. Because you can't fall back on price.
Right.
You have to be able to go, this is our best price, but let me tell you all the things that we do.
Yeah.
And the research that we do and all the value we provide.
That's great. I love that. So fast forward that to now. So from 2007 to now, how have you kind of taken that shift? And then what solutions are you solving for now? I know you kind of mentioned it a little bit about like what excites you and gets you up in the morning. Yeah. But is there something specifically like this is really what I'm focused on and this is what I know is going to be where we need to kind of continue to shift?
Yeah, I mean, data shows us what we need to focus on. So I really look at the data to help inform some decisions. Okay. I look at trends. I look at like month over month, year over year. What does our website traffic look like? What does our lead conversion look like? What does our service RO traffic look like? Are we seeing growth there? Obviously, we can make some operational efficiencies where we're making more per RO and retaining more gross and service, things like that. But if we're not growing our CP, customer pay, those are things that we have to really look at. So looking at the data, adjusting things on our website, and then obviously the training standpoint and helping our sales consultants do a better job as well. Kind of like the whole thing, but just looking at data consistently.
Yes.
To highlight areas where we've got opportunity.
I love that because you I think you threw in a keyword, right? Looking at data consistently, because I think sometimes what can happen is I might look at it at the top of the year, maybe do a quarterly review, and then but in that time there's so much that can shift, right? And change, that you have to be ever changing with the industry. Right. Is there anything like for looking at things, and I know we don't have a magic 8-ball or a crystal ball. I didn't bring one. I don't know if you brought.
Yeah, I don't know that.
Remember the old 8-ball?
Not many of those.
But is there anything that you can kind of see with what you've been kind of studying and researching with the data that maybe you're predicting or looking at that you want to be more aware of when it comes to future or where things are going, like the trajectory of things right now?
Yeah. I think that the speed of the transaction has to increase. We've got to speed that up. And we just really, there's so many buzzwords of like, digital retailing, and people want to buy online, and maybe. Right. But we just really need to be available for however somebody wants to transact. Yes. We need to be available for how someone might want to service their vehicle. Some complexity there with the amount of people you need to hire for like true pickup and delivery. In some places there's a lot of distance between doing that. But if it's possible to just really meet our customers where they're at on that buying journey or their service history or service journey, and just being available to help them with what they're wanting to do. Yeah. And also using the data to connect even when they haven't reached out to us yet.
Oh, so, that's big.
Just if you're looking at a Ford Explorer or a Honda Accord and you're at this part of the journey, our communication with you automatically should be going out to you to kind of be where you're at. We shouldn't be sending you the same thing that we're sending me that's looking at servicing my car.
Yes, absolutely.
So the data's all there. It's just getting all of the pieces put together to be able to do that.
I think that's a great point that you made, is that it needs to be not only intentional, but it needs to be specific, right? Yep. And then once you take the time to be intentional and be specific, then you can also help with working on that speed. Because I think when you do those two things, kind of like you mentioned, the speed of the transaction or the speed of completing everything should ideally be minimized, right? Because if I know, if I'm intentional about knowing what you need or how I can support you, then it should help me accomplish that goal a lot quicker and sooner, So I think that's great. So before we get out of here, do you want to tell people where they can find you, where they can get more information, how they can connect with you, all that good stuff? Yeah,
absolutely. So John Osborne, I work for Carter Myers Automotive. Currently working at Williamsburg Ford. I'm the executive manager there. We have a new Honda point being opened in Lexington Park, Maryland. It'll be CMA's Honda of Lexington Park. We're about a year out. And someone can contact me, josborne@cmacars.com.
I love it. That's it. Yeah. Well, listen, first off, thank you for being here. Thank you for your patience. I know. So you guys don't know this behind the scenes, but I'll just say it. John has been patiently waiting. He had a morning slot, and then we moved a little bit, but he's been flexible, and I think I appreciate you for that. So I want to thank you for taking the time and for continuing to come back, right? That's a big testament. I want to thank you all for joining and watching us. This is ASOTU Unscripted. I'm Errol Bomar, and we will see you on the next one. Take care till then.
Thank you for listening to Unscripted. At ASOTU, we're obsessed with uniting people around one big idea, that thriving people are the only path to a thriving and profitable industry. If that resonates with you, then head over to morethancars.com, join our email list, and explore our full list of podcasts.